I've also been working in this garden down here, and again getting irrigation working, and also transplanting some new cucumbers and watermelon seeds. These ones, I just took the plastic guards off, and you can see how even with the plastic guards they got hit by frost, but they are recovering. So they are zucchini, and then these are cucumbers, and there's pumpkins coming up there, and lettuces, and so all the warm season things we're just starting to plant, and been picking some of the artichokes for lunch. We have lots of those, and also picked some asparagus. There's more asparagus coming up here. With the warm weather, they'll come up very fast now. And of course, picked a lot of rocket for the salad, and some leeks. So there's still things in the garden from the winter finishing off, like all these leeks probably won't last very long because they're running up to seed, but we might make something like a sauerkraut out of
sauerkraut with leek.
Yeah. And so
what's this, the tank? Waterfall?
Yeah, this is a new addition because the garden here has only very low pressure water from the water comes out slowly from the hose.
Yep.
And I decided to have this tank that I can bucket water from for just things that I want to water that the drip irrigation is not set up for, and I can also use to make liquid fertilizer. So fish fertilizer or seaweed to add to the garden. And then this is old sawdust from a pile we harvested, and it's hard to believe, but this is from a sawmill that was operating 100 years ago.
Oh wow!
And the sawdust, when it is in a large pile, it's very, very slow to decompose. It's still like sawdust after 100 years in the forest, but it is quite acidic, but it's quite good for a lot of things as a mulch. We don't have enough of it to use on all the paths, but I'm using it just as a mulch around the plants.
We got the sawdust which has a lot lighter color. It was Australian hardwood I had.
Yeah, that would be the same as this, but this is aged.
Oh right.
You know, so this is 100 years old.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it hasn't decomposed into just soil, but it would be the same as the light that you get from the ash type eucalypts, messmate stringy bark, and those sort of species that are cut for timber.
You differentiate the use of mulch between those straw and then this one?
This of course has no weed seeds in it. This is actually a grass, more like hay, that we've cut from the lane here. May have some weed seeds in it, so I don't like to put it right around the plants unless they're big perennial plants or things like potatoes, where we use it very thickly and there's not so much problem. But we try not to buy mulch, especially anything that's been transported a long way or has come from farmland where the organic matter should be used on the farm. So we are always trying to use our own resources, and sometimes they're not the best perfectly, but it's better to use those. And also we have to cut all the grass and keep everything fire safe in the hot summer because, of course, bushfire is the main hazard we have here. So we've cut all the grass short, and then it's either gone into compost or mulch or packed down around the trees. And even though that is still be all there as dry material over the summer, so there is some risk, it doesn't support a running fire as much as a whole lot of dry grass standing up. So even though you're not taking the fuel away until the next winter and it's decomposed, just changing it from being upright to down. So similarly, we will slash all the orchard. We've still yet to do that. So there's a lot of biomass to sort of help convert. Whereas in a wetter climate, you can just cut it and leave it and it all decomposes. Here you have to more actively decompose things. So a lot of this chips from our chipper, because we have been feeding trees to the goats.
Wow.
So all these branches here, this is after the goats have eaten all the leaves off, and then all this material, anything that they don't eat, goes through the chipper, and then we have another source of mulch, which is again very woody, not so good for vegetables, but good around the trees.
So you trim all the trees and then throw into the goat area?
Yeah, well, we hang them on the fence because they don't like the smell of the manure. Like they're like us, they want to eat clean things. So we hang them up.
Yeah.
And but we cut between 2 and 6 ton of tree branches a year, with these loppers and pole pruners.
2 to 6 tons.
Yeah, to feed to the 3 or 4 goats.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of their food comes from trees, not from pasture.
Yeah.
Because goats, by their nature, are
tree
browsers, so it's very healthy for them. And we have to do that anyway to keep all the balance between fruit production and vegetable production, and it all turning into a thick forest of wood. So it's a constant balance, because we have planted many trees, and you can see here these acacias are cut back quite hard, so they don't grow too big and don't shade out the fruit trees, and then we feed those to the animals. So almost everything we have here is edible to the animals. It's only the more fire-prone big forest trees like the eucalypts and pines that we don't have any of here, that can't be sort of fed to the goats. So the goats actually even occasionally eat a bit of eucalypt and a bit of pine, sort of medicinally. Yeah. And so they're the main things.
Did you have the